Morning everybody, happy Friday. Welcome to another end of the week, which is more, I think, than just a little bit crazy. I know I say it every day, it's a bit crazy like how fast this month is flying past. So this morning on the coffee run, it's all about celebrations and insights for the week. And I think what's been really kind of interesting to watch my clients play out, morning Joe, has been around this piece around not giving up, actually. So I've got this client of mine at the moment, husband and wife team, Jeremy and Kim, and there's been some stuff that's kind of come up through, not through their clients, but through their business and things like that. And Kim sent me a message yesterday saying, you know, if it hadn't been for you, we would have gone back and got a job. And I think that there's definitely the insight for me as well has been over the last couple of years, there's been some different tough things that we've worked through, and without having my support crew in place in the form of mentors, in the form of peers, in the form of people who have got my back, I've been pretty close to throwing in the towel a few times, and it's in the times where I think it's a lot easier to say, okay, you know what, I don't need anybody now. Hey Cal, you know, I don't need a mentor, I don't need anybody because, you know, things are going along really well. And then that's usually, I've found, where not too long after having that thought is like, you know, something happens and it's like, wow, you know, this is why it's almost like an insurance policy, right? This is why I have these people in place. And I think that that's really something that's imperative, I think, to any kind of business success, is that we've always got to be growing. We've always got to have people who have got our back through both the amazing times and the not so much amazing times. I think the other really interesting thing is around this whole being of service piece. So, you know, it's really interesting. I've seen some business owners that I've been friends with and peers with over the last, probably particularly the last 5-6 years. And we're all sort of saying really similar things. And those similar things are around, you know, the more we stop pushing to try and get results and, you know, make more money and help more people and do this, that, and the other, the easier results seem to flow. And this is around that being of service. So I was chatting with a lady yesterday and I was explaining that we've got to be in things in this business game to play the long game. We've got to be consistently marketing. We've got to be consistently being of service. To me, that means getting out there and putting out value, getting out there and sharing your knowledge, talking about your stuff, because there'll be people who are like, yep, okay, great, you know what, I'm in and that's great, you know, I'm with you. And then other people can take 6, 12, 18 months, 5 years before they're actually are really ready to be able to work with you. And I think that this is the common kind of ripple that I've seen play out through the people who are also in my industry. They're like, you know, I see them talking about having clients coming in from seemingly nowhere. Jeremy was saying that it's really strange. You know, I had this person reach out and they weren't on a webinar. You know, I haven't spoken to them recently, but somehow they'd found their way. So that being of service and the power of consistency has been really highlighted to me this week, that it's a really important piece. The other thing that I thought was interesting, I was asked a question yesterday by a lady who said, so, you know, I'm worried about being really time poor. She's got time at the moment, but she said, I'm worried about being time poor and how much time all of this marketing is going to be taking. And I was like, oh, okay, that's definitely a valid question, but it sort of boggled my brain a little bit, because to me, you know, your marketing has got to be like having a shower. You can't not do it, otherwise it goes ripe, it goes off, it's not, it's icky, it's not good. So, marketing in terms of your business, hey Rebecca, good morning, happy Friday. It's the kind of thing where you've got to be doing it on an ongoing basis. So you need to be spending time on it every single week. You've got to be spending, and my advice would be, you've got to allow a good 8 hours, so a whole solid day's work to grow, to marketing yourself and marketing your business. Now, that's the organizing your social media, that's doing your emails, that's doing your Facebook stuff, that's doing your lives. If you're doing lives, that's running your webinars. The rest of the time is probably around delivery. But you've got to be of the mindset that you've got to be doing this consistently, because otherwise, here's what happens. You're going to spend a bunch of time marketing. Let's say you spend the next 2 months marketing, you build your pipeline really fast, and that's really great. But then what happens in 2 months' time, hey Jason, good to see you. In like 2 months' time, you're like, whoa, you know what? I've got all these clients now. I'm really busy. I'm just going to take the pedal off the marketing. And then your pipeline starts to dry up, right? And then what happens, and then in another 2 months' time that you're finished with those clients perhaps, or you start doing something else, and then you're like, shit, I've got to really pump in that marketing pedal now and, continue going. So really to me, my an 8 hours, Cal, she said she's just booked into your schedule. Good job. It's kind of like the minimum. It depends on how fast you implement, it depends on how fast you do the stuff, but it's really like there are core things that you've got to do every week to keep that pipeline flowing. Otherwise, you end up in feast and then famine, and then feast and then famine. And then you end up completely at the mercy of that kind of cycle. And that's actually debilitating. That is the kind of thing, to me, that leads to burnout. That's the type of thing that leads to adrenal fatigue. It's the type of thing that leads to your brain not being able to cope. I would much rather that it's kind of like this, like going up on an upward scale, of course. We want revenue increasing, we want clients increasing, we want momentum increasing. But if you're going like, all right, I'm going to go flat out for 2 months on marketing, and then I'm just going to do all delivery, and then I'm going to get back in and do the marketing after that, you're setting yourself up from an energetic thing like that. Hey, Jacko. Hey, Casey. And also what will happen is that your finances will go like this, right? Because you've got all clients, you've got all the money coming in, and then like they stop paying. It's like, oh crap, or your commissions stop coming in, or whatever happens. So we've got to have a way of being able to temper out those curves a little bit. So being of service, putting stuff out there regularly, you have to find the time to nurture the leads and the people and the audience that you are growing. You've got to find the time to do that. Otherwise, you're always going to be looking for new people to have conversations with, new people to bring on board, right? And that is, quite frankly, freaking exhausting. So let's make the most of what you've got. Still bring new people through, but make the most of what you've already got. Glad that makes sense, Kelly. Slow and steady and consistency, yes. And that's been your goal for this week. Awesome. Excellent. One step, do the work. The next step, implement. The next step, implement. Beautiful. Good work. So proud of you. That's awesome. The other thing that I thought that I would bring up, so we went on a morning walk this morning, forgot to take a photo because Dom and I were a bit too jibber-jabbery. We were talking about how it's really interesting how we sometimes, well, I was talking about me. So I sent out sent out 3 emails this week that made me want to vomit. I think I talked about this on Wednesday, on Q&A Wednesday, talking about being brave. And I sent out 3 emails asking some very big name people to write the foreword for my book. And 2 of them have already come back and said yes. So I'm so freaking excited. And I was chatting with my mentor and she said, Nicola, I think you're not realizing how, what the kind of work that you're doing and how good it is. And I've gone, okay, that's great. I see this play out for my clients as well. Maybe you see this play out for you. You know, most likely, that what you do is great, that what you do is good. I'll use Jeremy as an example. Jeremy and Kim, their business is fantastic. They're amazing. They're so full of personality. Jeremy is like hilarious and, charismatic, and, he's really great on camera, and his people love him. But sometimes it almost takes someone outside of the normal circle giving you that validation to be like, you know what, actually, maybe I am doing all right at this type of thing. So I was watching a video how this kind of plays in, and Rizzoli and Isles, I think the TV show is, it's like that cop show. So Rizzoli, I can't think of the actress's name. I think she was also in some other crime show. Oh my God, Nicola. Anyway, she was in another crime show. It might have been SVU or something like that, I think. And she was on an ad that I was watching yesterday for this neck zapping thing, this like invasion-free neck lift. And I was like, why is she doing this? This is really fascinating. And like, I'm not interested in a neck zapping lift thing, but I was interested because she was on there, and I thought there are more and more celebrities doing celebrity endorsements and influencers doing influence endorsements and things like that. And I think what's really interesting is how having someone who is known almost not necessarily even recommend your stuff, but talking about why it's important or how it's worked or whatever. Like what I saw play out in this ad is like, it was someone that I recognized. That's the only reason I watched the ad. And it was just like, there you go. This is kind of done almost for me, what these people who have agreed to write my forward, it's kind of like, oh, wow, okay. It's almost like that validation. And to me, that lent credibility to this particular product. Now, you don't need that, right? And this is what my mentor was hammering home. She's like, I hope now that you're realizing that what you're doing is actually really great. And this is for you. So, Callie, I can see that you've commented. I know Margaret often watches this. I know Ainsley usually watches this. Maxine, Tamara, Joan, like a lot of you guys that are in here commenting on a daily basis. You don't need those external reinforcements for you to know that your stuff is good. But in case you needed it, your stuff is good. From me to you, I hope that helps you. It's really interesting how we, the way that our brains work and how it tries to keep us safe, right? When in reality, you're already amazing. It's just a matter of you getting out of your own way, getting yourself out there and making this stuff happen because your audience needs it. And they are going to look at you the way that I look at these big names that have said yes, and it blows my mind. Like I was giggly for 3 days. It's hilarious. Your audience are going to look at you guys or are looking at you guys in the same way. So take that, take the compliments, take the validation. You're welcome, Kelly. And just get yourself out there. Go make it happen. Let's play a bigger game. And I know that can sometimes feel a little bit fucking scary because for whatever reason it feels scary. But just get out there and make it happen. You've got this. You're amazing. All right? That's my Friday Raz. We've got a really big weekend coming up. We've got a dinner tonight with my husband's brother, which will be lovely. Then we've got my daughter's deb ball. She's doing a debutante ball. So not only has she turned 17 recently, she's also doing the whole deb thing, and it's just this constant reminder that she's getting older, and it kind of makes me want to vomit. I'm really proud of her, it's great, and I'm happy she's growing up, but oh my Lord, it's like, it boggles my brain at the same time. So we've got that going on, and then we're heading to the States on Sunday. Yay! The whole family, so really excited about that. So, have a really beautiful and awesome weekend. In light of my travels, next week our lives are going to be a little bit more sporadic. So I'll either be filming things on the go, or there might be less content driven, just sharing a little bit more about what's going on in some downtime over in Southern California. Can't wait to be warm. Have a beautiful weekend. I'll chat with you next week, and go kick some ass.